Have you ever stared at your phone, wondering why her name hasn't popped up again? You replay the last conversation, scroll through old messages, even second-guess the last emoji you sent. But nothing. Silence. It's deafening. But here's what most men don't understand: her silence isn't just absence, it's a signal. A powerful one. And if you know how to interpret it, it can change everything about how you approach dating, attraction, and your own sense of worth. Because maybe, just maybe, her not texting is the clearest message she could ever send. In this video, we won't waste your time with the usual cliches like just give her space or be patient. She'll come around. No. We're going deeper, into the psychology, the philosophy, and the raw truth behind her silence. We'll explore how Stoic thinking reframes your response, how emotional intelligence changes the game, and how her behavior isn't a test of your charm. It's a test of your inner strength. By the end of this, you won't just understand her better, you'll understand yourself better. Let's dive in. 1. Silence doesn't always mean she's done. Let's get this straight: silence doesn't automatically mean she's ghosting you. That's the first false belief you've got to drop. The real reason she might be quiet, it could have absolutely nothing to do with you. She might be overwhelmed with work, navigating her own emotional storms, or simply recalibrating after a deep emotional moment. People process feelings differently, and for many women, that includes pulling back before moving forward. We live in a culture of instant everything. Instant messaging, instant replies, instant reassurance. But relationships, especially in their early stages, don't always dance to that tune. Sometimes, silence is just space, and space is where emotional depth has room to grow. Linguists like Deborah Tannen have shown that men often approach communication as a tool for problem solving, while women see it as a way to maintain connection. So when she's silent, it might not be avoidance, it might just be emotional exhaustion. But here's the twist: most men interpret that gap as failure, and that fear fuels a cycle of anxiety, overthinking, and desperate messaging, when in reality, nothing is broken, you're just uncomfortable sitting in the unknown. 2. The Stoic response: don't react, choose stillness. Here's where the Stoic man rises. Most men react to silence, they spiral, chase, unravel. But the Stoic pauses. He understands a core truth: you don't control her actions, only your own. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That silence? It's not a void to fill, it's a chance to master your emotions. Instead of texting her again or scanning her online activity like a detective, the Stoic breathes. He sits with discomfort. Not because he doesn't care, but because he refuses to lose his center over someone else's rhythm. That kind of presence isn't passive, it's powerful. You weren't taught how to handle uncertainty. You were taught to chase resolution, to fix what feels broken. But not everything needs fixing. Sometimes, it just needs observing. Her silence isn't an emergency, it's an invitation to return to yourself, to choose strength over desperation. And that is where your true value begins to shine. 3. Her silence might be testing you. Here's something few men realize: her silence might not be a rejection, it might be a subconscious test. Not a game. Not manipulation. A test of your emotional center. When she pulls back, when she slows communication or goes quiet, she's unconsciously asking, can he handle this? She's not looking for the guy who panics, overtexts, and spirals into self-doubt. She's watching to see if you crumble or stay composed. In evolutionary terms, women seek emotional safety. That doesn't just mean financial stability or physical strength, it means emotional resilience. Your ability to stay calm when the waters get murky. So if silence sends you into chaos, it signals insecurity. But if you hold your ground, that's magnetic. That's attractive in a way no text or pick-up line ever could be. The Stoic man doesn't beg for reassurance. He doesn't need to be seen to feel valuable. His validation comes from within. And that quiet, unshakable confidence, it echoes louder than any good morning text ever could. 4. Chasing her silence only pushes her further. Let's be brutally honest, the moment you chase her silence, you've already lost your footing. Double texting, apologizing for things you didn't do, sending just checking in messages. It screams insecurity. And insecurity repels where confidence attracts. Here's what's happening psychologically: when you chase, you shift the energy dynamic. You place her on a pedestal, and yourself below. That imbalance doesn't create connection, it creates pressure. People push back when they feel their space is being invaded, even subtly. It's called reactance. And the more you try to close the gap, the more she backs away. Instead of begging to be noticed, let your absence speak. Don't vanish to punish her, but create space so she can feel what life is like without your energy. That absence, when done from a place of calm, not manipulation, reclaims your value. 5. What to do instead? Focus on your inner world. So what should you actually do when she goes silent? You don't wait. You don't obsess. You don't shrink. You turn inward, and expand. Reconnect with your goals. Hit the gym. Learn something new. Journal your thoughts, not to vent, but to gain clarity. Redirect your energy toward creation, growth, and alignment with your purpose. Instead of checking when she was last online, ask yourself, what have I been neglecting in my own life? Her silence often points to areas in yourself that need attention. This isn't self-help fluff. It's real. A man in motion is magnetic. A man sitting in limbo, not so much. The more full your life becomes, the less her attention, or lack of it, can rock your sense of self. You become unshakable. You become free. And that's the kind of man she will feel drawn to, not because he chased, but because he walked forward without needing to be chased. 6. When she comes back, you're still in charge. Eventually, silence breaks. She texts. Maybe it's casual. Maybe it's random. Maybe it's her way of testing the waters. Now most guys either respond too eagerly, showing their emotional dependence, or with bitterness, trying to teach her a lesson. But not you. Because you've grown. You've stayed grounded. You didn't need her to feel worthy. And now you get to choose how you respond. You don't need to ignore her, unless you've truly moved on. But you don't need to roll out the red carpet either. A calm, centered response like, "Hey, been busy with some great stuff lately, good to hear from you," is enough. You're not playing games, you're just not handing over your piece. And here's what that does: it signals to her that you're no longer orbiting around her attention. You've created gravity of your own. That's rare. That's irresistible. Let her silence make you stronger. So the next time she goes silent, don't make it about her. Make it about you. Let it be a mirror. Let it show you where your worth really lies. Not in replies. Not in validation. But in your ability to stand still and remain strong in the quiet. You don't need to chase. You don't need to prove. You just need to become. And the more you become a man rooted in his values, his mission, his calm presence, the more the right people will find you. Naturally, let her wander. Let her feel your absence, not out of punishment, but out of purpose. You're not angry. You're not waiting. You're rising. And she'll notice, not because you reached out, but because you didn't have to. So stay focused. Stay grounded. Stay stoic. And if this message resonated with you, don't just keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. You're not alone on this path. I'll see you in the next one.